Hello and welcome back to Well Played. I'm Caroline Hendershot.
And I'm Blake Blue Merwin. We are back here for this early edition of the show. It is 7:48 a.m., y'all.
Yep, it's early.
We show up for you, our loyal listeners. If we can get up this early to be in the studio, the least you can do is hit subscribe wherever you're listening or watching. So we have a YouTube channel, Well Played by the Skim. Or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever, just please hit subscribe for full-length videos, versions of this episode, blah, blah, blah.
Who wouldn't want to listen to our voices constantly and
I
24/7?
know. Come on. Just once a week, please. But
Please, we're not asking that much.
we're not. But Caroline, before we dive into any topics today, it's Monday. No, it's Tuesday. It is Tuesday, October 29th.
Nailed it.
Halloween's Thursday.
Yeah, it is.
What are your plans?
I have literally never enjoyed a Halloween since like elementary school, maybe middle school. I'll give myself that. Because like in high school and college, I always had practices and games and stuff. And then now I have work. So I will be working Thursday Night Football. The Jets play the Texans at MetLife Stadium. So if anyone's there, let me know.
Are you going to wear a costume?
No.
Not allowed.
No. I will be dressed up as the Jets team reporter. And her name is Caroline Hendershot.
I like that. I think that's a good costume.
We're kind of burying the lead here because it also is your birthday.
It is my birthday.
That old thing. Yeah.
It is my birthday.
What are your plans?
Thursday night, I'm having a wholesome night with my friends. I invited them over. I'm going to spatchcock a chicken. My first time ever.
Okay.
So you got to break the spine of the chicken.
Yeah, that sounds like my nightmare.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one.
Okay.
And then I'm also going to bake a pumpkin Basque cheesecake tomorrow night.
Oh, that
to
sounds
serve Thursday night.
delicious.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Wow, you're just like such a little homemaker.
I'm a homemaker. I'm domestic as hell. What can I say?
Well, producer Sean also did want us to wear costumes today.
I said no.
Well, he suggested the costumes from the movie A League of Their Own. And then we had to give him the terrible reality check that neither of us have seen it because it was made before we were born.
Yes, and I conducted an informal. He was like appalled about that.
He was really mad.
And so I was like, hold up. I need to conduct an informal poll. So I asked Skimmers. I was like, who has seen this movie? Were you born before the year it came out? Were you born after? Majority of the company had seen this movie.
Yeah, I know. I'm in the minority.
We were in the minority.
Yeah. Scott yelled at me. He was like, it's a great movie. How have you not seen it? And I was like, pause. I just don't watch as many movies as you. I never said it was a bad movie. I just haven't gotten around to it.
And I will.
Maybe.
But also, I think I should point out the reason why he wanted us to dress as this. The whole reason that came up in the first place is because he pitched it in the group. He's like, oh, you guys should dress up for Halloween. Sent the picture of these two girls in baseball uniforms. And I was like, who the hell is that? I was like, ooh, I've never seen them in my life.
Idea?
And he was like, are you joking me?
Yeah.
And it's because the tagline of our show is the only podcast in the league of its own.
It would make such sense to do this costume. Just wasn't in the
Just
cards.
not for us.
Just
We're not the girls.
Yeah.
We're
we'll
not
leave
the
that
girls.
for somebody else. Should we get into you going to Michigan now or later? We can do it later if you want.
We can do it now.
Okay.
Sean's saying we should do it now.
So Blake this weekend went to the greatest place on earth, also known as Ann Arbor, Michigan, and she got to see the beautiful campus.
I did.
Please tell me. I've restrained myself for the last like 48 hours that we've been speaking to not ask you about it. So please tell me what you did.
Well, so Caroline also, I forgot to mention this last week and I meant to because obviously Caroline went to UMich. I knew she'd have the Fire Rex and she did. She delivered. I texted her. I was like, wait, also I'm boarding a plane to Ann Arbor. And she's like, what the hell?
I was
are you kidding?
Thanks for including me in this.
And she sent a custom list of recommendations of what I should do. They're very detailed. She was like, go to this bar, my old stomping grounds.
Yeah.
Go to this place, that place. It was very appreciated. I think made it to one place because I was there for maybe like 72 hours.
Yeah.
I went to Zingerman's, of course.
Divine.
It was so cool in there.
Divine.
I need that in my neighborhood.
They also have like you think you need a condiment, they have 70 million of each one.
They had a cheesemonger. They had the sandwich deli part. It was really cool.
So good.
But Ann Arbor, gorgeous. I was like, should I go back to should I go to grad school or something?
And then I was like, wait, did we just turn her into a Michigan fan
so
instead
beautiful.
of a Rutgers fan? Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. Because the fanfare, which we'll get into later actually in the episode about the Michigan State.
The state of Michigan.
Yes, game. But it was gorgeous. Peak fall.
Yeah.
Honestly, it reminded me of like a nicer version of New Jersey.
I'll take that.
Yeah. And people were just generally nicer.
Here's the thing. You went pre sun disappearing for 6 months.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, when it hits like November, you legitimately don't see the sun. It's not an exaggeration. You legitimately do not see the sun.
I buy that. I know. I was being sold like the tourism brochure version of Ann Arbor.
Yeah.
I also, the only thing I have to show for it is these glasses, which is why I'm wearing them today.
They're beautiful.
They are beautiful. They are a little bit showy.
Okay.
I'll say.
Okay.
But I think they look nice.
I think they look great. And they're maize.
They're maize?
So like Michigan's colors are maize and blue. Not yellow.
Oh,
not yellow.
Excuse me.
Maize and blue. They will die on this hill.
I was like, is that like a new thing that people are
maize
saying?
and blue. Oh yeah, they like people will be like, we're not yellow and blue. We're maize and blue.
Okay, today
so
I
they're
learned.
maize. Yeah,
I didn't learn that on my excursion over there.
Well, you're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have a lot to cover, but before we get into that, once again, Blake, hit me with where people can follow you.
Instagram, BL3As4Ks
You are getting so good at that.
I blacked out just now.
Okay, well, it's great. You crushed it. You can also follow me at CG Hendy, and make sure you're following The Skim on every single social media platform that you consume social media on.
Please. And as always, we have prepared a roundup of our favorite stories dominating your feeds this week. It is time for Playing the Field.
We're starting Playing the Field with, I don't even know where to begin with this interaction between Shaquille O'Neal and breakout WNBA star Angel Reese. So Shaq appeared as a guest on her podcast, Unapologetically Angel.
While discussing a topic about lowering rims in the WNBA, O'Neal chimed in with this uncomfortable comment that initially I was going to read, but actually we're just going to run the tape because it's just too cringe and uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, imagine you in
I'm not imagining.
Let me finish. Imagine you in the same little shirt you had on at the Wild 'N Out show, dunking. You know how many t-shirts you gonna sell, cuz? You tripping.
Oh my
What?
God.
What?
Oh God.
The same little shirt you had on.
Okay, all right, all right.
Bro.
So yeah, after he said this, Reese clearly tried to like get him to pipe down, tried to basically de-escalate for him.
Yeah.
Do what he was supposed to do for him, essentially. But there was more because O'Neal continued his commentary with saying, "You're not beautiful or good looking. You are gorgeous. There's a lot of gorgeous women in the WNBA." So Caroline, I know we're like both like cringing in our seats right now. What did you think when you first heard these comments?
I just like, does he not pick up on any social cues? Like someone trying to cut you off is always so obvious. And it's just like, let her help you. She was literally trying to stop you for a reason. Just like maybe backtrack.
I imagine someone like Shaq hasn't had to think about social cues in a long time because he's just like
gets away with whatever.
Exactly. And they just live in their own universe.
Yeah. But he also has 3 daughters. So it's kind of like, I don't know why this generation of men still thinks like it's okay to comment on women's bodies and whatnot, because like my dad's in like his older upper 60s. He has 3 daughters as well. He knows that lesson.
Yeah.
He does not say stuff like that. Yeah.
Listen, I bully my stepdad. I'll say that. I have since I was probably 13 years old, and I will call him out on his shit. And he'll be the first to tell you. And particularly, like, he thought he could just say shit before, and I was like, no, I know you're like an older man, but that's not allowed. Literally, since I was like 14.
Yeah.
And he's piped down ever since.
It's also just like, you should know, like, you have daughters. You don't comment on women's bodies, good or bad.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
No, it's not necessary.
Yeah.
Women don't want to hear it. It's okay.
It's really sad because it was on her own podcast, which makes me, I just feel like that's terrible. It's her own space, and he just kind of commandeered it by saying this weird comment.
And don't you think it's worse because she has like described him as a father figure before?
Absolutely.
He walked her out on like senior day at LSU.
Oh my God. It's so wild. And it's sad too because obviously he's like Shaq is, spoiler alert, a huge name in the NBA. And also just like culturally, he DJs, he's done movies. He
does everything. He's everywhere.
Yeah. Everybody knows who he is. And it's like, you think, I would imagine as Angel Reese, she like thinks that she has this mentor or like confidant, someone who gets the game, someone who gets what's going on for her career. Like, it really skyrocketed in the last couple of years. And she probably felt like, oh, this is some guy who I just have on the podcast to shoot the shit with. And then it's like, he just takes it too far. He's like gotten clearly way too comfortable.
Yeah.
You know? And it sucks also because it's like, if she complains about it, she's damned if she does, damned if she doesn't. So if she complains, people are like, Angel, why can't you take a joke?
Or like he was giving you a compliment.
Yeah.
I hate when people say that.
Yeah. And if she doesn't complain and maybe like a later comes out, he'll be like, well, I'm not a mind reader.
Yeah.
How was I supposed to know?
Yeah.
And because he is the icon he is, nobody's going to want to hear that from her. Everyone's just going to be the pipe down little girl.
Yeah. And she tried. She really
She
did try
did.
to help him.
Yeah. And I know that, I don't know. I've seen that she asked people about their dating history before, but it's like, as the adult in the room, you should just know to not like bring it there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I also, I hated that. So the whole part of the reason why he like said this comment about like the booty shorts is just like, yeah, you can make, you know how many t-shirts you'd sell if you wore those little shorts of yours? Like, why is your mind, like, why is it that the first place your mind goes to like make more money for players to sexualize them?
Yeah. Like she's going to actually do really well selling jerseys and whatnot based on the way that she plays.
Yeah.
And she plays very well. So she'll be great.
She will be great.
She's all set in that
just
department.
A very uncomfortable interaction. Angel Reese hasn't said anything about it on social media. You know, people will, again, damn if she does it and she doesn't. Like, people will say, well, you know, she hasn't said anything about it publicly, so that must mean she doesn't care. So why are you getting offended on her behalf? But it's like, this is something that all women, I'm sure, have experienced. When I was hearing the story, I was thinking about times where I've been put in weird positions with men who are older than me, men who are like close, who I thought were close to me. And so it's not just about how Angel feels about it, because this is an experience that's like unique to many women.
Yeah, every woman has this experience at some point in their life, and they're like, that was too far, and I'm uncomfortable now.
Exactly.
So I feel for her.
Basically, to wrap this segment up, because it's just so uncomfortable, if you are a man listening, I don't know how many men we have in our
Blake
audience.
has some advice for you.
Please just don't comment on women's bodies, whether it's good or bad.
That's all.
Thank you. For our next story on Playing the Field, we shift our attention to the Los Angeles Lakers and rookie Bronny James, who made his debut alongside his daddy last week. I can't believe I just said daddy on air. Oh my God. After the opening game, much of the focus was on Bronny's production or lack thereof.
Of course. But according to reports, NBA star Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves told Bronny during the game that he, quote, didn't need to take a shower after the game because apparently, like, he didn't break a sweat. So before we get into Bronny, the trash talk, do you appreciate that, or do you think it could have been better?
I liked it. It's kind of understated.
Okay, Anthony Edwards is here for playing the villain, and I'm so here for it.
We did talk about this last week.
Yeah, like he just really is the antagonizer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Yes.
I think it's hilarious.
I thought it was good trash talk. But yeah, Bronny has yet to take the court again outside of those 3 minutes with his dad on opening night. But Lakers coach JJ Redick is making headlines for a different reason, because according to a tweet from former NBA player Baron Davis, Redick was spotted grinding through game tape while waiting at a Los Angeles car wash.
Yes, that is correct. A car wash. You heard that. Redick was asked about the sighting and confirmed that he was using the only time he had between his son's own games and the Lakers' opening games to get through tape. So what did you think of this one? Because I have some thoughts.
Oh, okay. I'll go first.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, vibes. It's not that serious vibes. Like, why are you at a car wash right now watching game tape? Like, can't you just also I want to just also talk about the fact that he went to a car wash to wash his car himself. I would imagine he makes a lot of money. He doesn't need.
Do you think it was one of those, or do you think it was like one where he's sitting off to the side watching game tape?
He still had to bring his car there. Like,
you're saying someone can come to his house.
I'm surprised that somebody doesn't just do this for him. Like, he doesn't have an assistant and he's just like, go take my car to the car wash. No, he was like, so to me, I'm like, he's looking for a moment of solace.
Stars, they're just like us.
He's looking for a moment of solace, a moment of solitude, some breathing room. But then he spoiled it by getting his head back in that game.
Yeah.
Watching, he was being an iPad kid at the car wash.
He was being an iPad kid.
You know what I mean?
That's correct. Yeah.
And so I was just like, it can't be that serious. I don't know. What did you think?
I knew you were going to have this take, and I have the exact opposite, of course,
Okay,
because this is how we work. I get it, because this man's schedule is probably literally down to the minute of like shit that he's got to do. So he was able to go to his son's game, which I think is impressive, because I know so many coaches around the league in the NFL that can't get to their son's game, or like are literally live at the facility because it's just so all consuming. There's always something to do. There's always game tape to watch. So the fact that he was just kind of being very efficient with his time. I respect the hell out of that.
So you admire.
And you know what? The Lakers, they're 3-1. They just lost, but they were 3-0 and they've started the season pretty well. So I will say they're doing something right. So I don't know. I think that there's a little method to the madness, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for our next story on Playing the Field, we're shifting from LeBron and the Lakers to a story about LeBron's former teammate, Dwayne Wade. Now, this one I have a lot of opinions about. There's really no need to like set the story up other than to say, did you see the Miami Heat's unveiled statue of Dwayne Wade?
Oh, I absolutely did.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to know my thoughts?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I fall into the same category as literally everyone on the internet. And I was like, what the fuck is that?
What is it? Who is it?
Who is that man? I don't know him.
It's not DWade. It's not DWade. And you know what the most damning piece of evidence is? There's a video of DWade like kind of smiling and he's looking at his son as this statue's getting unveiled. And he's looking at his son.
Oh my God.
And they look at each other. They don't speak. They don't say anything, but they just do some eye movements. They said so much without saying anything. Like that. Oh my God.
When I was watching that video of him looking at the statue being unveiled, I was like, this is exactly why I don't like to open presents in front of people because it was so uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have to like put on a reaction and be like, oh my God, I love it. But he clearly did not love it.
He was like, who is that man?
Yeah.
Also, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not artistic literally in any way possible, but you're telling me there is no peer review, like, let's check up on this statue 50% of the way for it being done. Like,
one would think.
How did it get cleared? And someone looked at it and was like, that's a good statue.
Oh my God. I mean, I think if anything, this is a lesson in confidence. Fake it till you make it. Because if this statue could get through.
Truly.
This, honestly, listener, if you're going for that promotion at work,
you go,
but you don't think you deserve it. If you want that man, but you don't feel like he's for you.
Just remember the statue.
Remember the Dwayne Wade statue, because if they can do it, so can you. So can you.
Yeah, they got to throw it out. Just start from ground zero.
I wonder if that's possible.
I know how it's possible. Pick it up and throw it in the river. Like, get rid of that thing. It's ugly. And he is not an ugly man.
He's not. He's a handsome man.
Yeah, so like, what are we doing?
We're going to, because of this podcast, someone's going to like go on a covert mission at midnight.
Oh my God.
And they're gonna literally throw that statue in the river. You heard it here first.
I would love that if someone did that on our behalf. Okay, we have one more topic to talk about on Playing the Field, and that is the New York City Marathon, which is happening this coming Sunday, November 3rd.
Yes, I am personally very excited about it. I've only spectated once before, but I will be going, as will you, as will our producer, Sean. We'll be on the sidelines. We will be in attendance at the finish line as the runners finish their little race.
Race.
Yes, I know.
26 miles.
I know. Caroline has run it before, so that felt very personal. It was not a jab, I promise.
She's attacking me.
I just like to call, you'll notice this if you watch or listen to our podcast. Like, I call a lot of things little.
Everything's little.
Everything's little because little things are cute. The New York City Marathon is very cute to me. But yeah, the New York Roadrunners, they're a nonprofit that produces 60 adult and youth races each year, including what many call the best day in New York. But Caroline, I want to know about, so when did you run it last year or the year before?
Last year.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was sick.
Are you having like PTSD or something?
Not yet. Probably on Sunday I will.
Also, like, how did you train for that when you have the schedule that you do?
Again, I don't know. Sick in the head.
You're like, I don't know that, Caroline.
No.
That version of myself is gone.
You're correct. Yeah, that was woof. Two of the biggest things that I hate so I've run 2 marathons.
Okay.
I know.
When was the other one?
So annoying. I ran the Brooklyn Marathon, and I don't think they make it a marathon anymore. I think they just do a half marathon, but that was hell on earth because that was my first one, and it was very hilly. Was not ready for that. But New York is so crowded that last year when I was running it, the thing that I felt like held me back the most, because of course I'm so competitive to my core, I was like, I could have gotten a faster time, damn it. But the outside of my thighs, like, were so sore from like bobbing and weaving through the crowd because there were so many people that my legs were shot. That was like the factor that totally took it out. But it is the best day in New York because it is adrenaline city. I've never been a spectator, so I'm very excited.
The spectating is probably, I'm not
Everyone
sorry,
says
I
it's the
gotta
best
say
part.
it's better than running it
I believe
because
that,
like it's just so emotional.
Also no pain, so that's a bonus. But yeah, I highly recommend running it because it is the greatest thing ever. It's just so cool. But it does hurt.
So,
I will say that.
I only did that. I did the half marathon this past year, and I literally, I
Oh,
think
you
the first
girl.
Thank you. I think the first thought I had as I was finishing in Central Park, which also somebody went under cardiac arrest when I was there in Central Park because it's so hilly at the end.
Yeah, Central Park is a beast.
It's a beast. But the first thought I had literally was like, I cannot imagine doing that again.
Yeah.
So kudos to you.
Thank you so much.
So I also had a chance to link with Christine Burke of New York Roadrunners, who's run 25 marathons herself.
Insane.
No big deal.
Disgusting.
Yes. She shared a great fact with me, which is that this year's marathon will feature lactation spaces for pumping and other amenities at miles 8, 17, and 22. Also, this year will probably feature the most runners ever. Last year, it was a record. I think it was like 50,000.
I felt that in the crowd. Yep. My legs felt that. They felt that record.
Yeah, you felt that record.
Yeah, so we'll be counting everyone as they come through the finish line to make sure, or I guess to see if it's a record-breaking year or not. But real quick on the lactation spaces.
Please.
I have not ever given birth, obviously, so can't talk really much about this, but running with boobs full of milk has got to be painful.
It's gotta hurt.
Oh my God. Like
running with boobs, we both admittedly don't have huge boobs. Spoiler alert.
Which that is a blessing in the sports world.
I was gonna say, because running with boobs, period, seems like it would hurt a lot regardless.
100%.
And then you add the lactation of it all.
Oh God, that's gotta be terrible.
Yeah.
So
kudos to moms out there running marathons.
I was gonna say, if any moms that are like new moms that are just ripping out a marathon casually.
Also, I'd be pissed because I'd be like, God damn it, this is eating into my time. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna pump regardless because I love my kid.
And like I also have to kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, for my own sake.
Because I love my kid. Yeah, and for my own sake.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'd be like,
no, I'd be
that's
pissed.
eating into my
yeah.
I don't know. Any skimmers out
there?
I
didn't even like saying hi to like my family on the side because I was like, seconds.
Say hi. Bye.
I gotta go. Should we show everyone our signs?
Yes, we should show everyone our signs.
Well, pass me mine because you know what both signs say. I only know what mine says.
Yours is there.
Oh, mine's here. Oh, okay. I want everyone to read that beautiful thing. Run like Harrison Butker.
Can you get your face in the shot so that we can like screenshot this later?
Hey.
That is excellent. So it says, run like Harrison Butker is trying to take your degree. Do you want to just really quick, in case somebody doesn't know who Harrison Butker is?
He's a kicker for the Chiefs. He kind of went viral. Was it this summer for giving a graduation speech where in like essentially saying that women are just great in the home. So
they don't need their degrees.
Yeah. Why would they?
At their graduation, what the fuck?
That graduating college and getting their degree wasn't like the pinnacle. The pinnacle was going to be like staying at home and just being a home housewife. Mm-hmm. Which, if you are, kudos to you. But
not for
let everyone make that choice themselves.
Yeah, Harrison.
Okay, thanks.
Okay,
so much.
So my sign.
Yeah, please. Oh God, I'm nervous.
Okay, admittedly, Sean so lovingly created the sign for me. And so I gotta appreciate the gradient on this emoji that he drew.
Okay. You look hot, let me grab your bib number. That's a good one. Oh, I like that.
Say it again.
You look hot, let me grab your bib number. That's a good one. I can't hold it because Scott would be mad at me, but I do like it.
I'm sure my man is not happy about this, but he has no choice.
No, I'm really into that one. Okay, so if you see that, give us your bib number on
and we'll
Sunday.
pass it on to somebody else.
Yeah,
who's
maybe
we'll
set
candidate.
you up on a blind date that you just didn't know you needed.
Honestly,
in your
my
life.
roommate is single and she's looking.
There you go,
and she's really
gorgeous. I have a lot
of
beautiful single friends in New York City, so
non-creeps only, please.
Yeah.
We're really excited to go spectate on Sunday, and thank you to New York Roadrunners for having us. We're going to be very excited to support.
Yep.
Maybe we'll see you there.
Hopefully we do.
If you do, say hi.
Yeah, please.
We're going to talk some basketball now.
Yeah, real quick.
I just want to say that if you woke up with a job today, you can say more than 7 coaches in the WNBA.
Yeah, I feel like every day we're waking up to a firing.
Yeah. I mean, the past, I think it was like 2 days, 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
So it was Chrissy Sides of the Indiana Fever.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephanie White of the Connecticut Sun.
Yeah, I saw that.
Insane. I mean, so we already have 5 firings for, I don't know, I think since like September 25th or something like that. And then 2 more. So that's 7 out of 12 teams now in the WNBA do not have a head coach.
That's insane.
It is insane. And I don't think this is precedented either. Like, it's very unprecedented, I should say.
I mean, that's having half the coaches in any league replaced.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting of how that all plays out and how it affects the league next season.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, we are not actively in a season, but I think it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see if this like impacts positively the league. It should, hopefully. I mean, I feel like that's probably why they're probably reshuffling. The expectations are a lot higher. Like, the league is getting more competitive. People want to see really insane gameplay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going to keep following the situation. Not really much to say about it other than people are like kind of freaking out right now, and like the league is just sort of in flux.
Yeah.
So we'll be following that.
Lots of change happening.
Lots of question marks.
With the NBA, we got to touch on that because it's been 1 week since it has gotten into action. You were just saying.
I was like, what the hell? It's been only a week because I swear I've just been seeing so many basketball headlines in 1 week.
I know. Welcome.
God. Like, is this going to be my life until like.
Yes.
What the
Yes,
hell?
that is correct.
Welcome.
That is correct.
I thought football was bad.
Nope, you're just beginning, sweet cheeks. So the Lakers obviously still outperforming expectations. They're 3-1. The vibes I can only imagine are very high, but like LeBron is just playing at another level,
which is crazy because he's literally 40 years old.
Yep. The man doesn't age in basketball years, apparently.
And it's interesting, too, because obviously, as we mentioned at the top of the episode, Bronny Jr. in the league, literally, I don't even know how old he is. Probably like in his, 21, 22, 20?
Yeah, I would imagine.
I don't even know. He's born in the early 2000s.
Young 20s.
Young 20s, born in the 2000s, which is frightening to me that there are children, to me, what feel like children playing in the NBA.
Correct.
But it's interesting because, yeah, he's like this young buck. Obviously, he'll always be compared to his dad, but like his dad is still, to me, like making more headlines. Obviously, he's one of the greatest of all time.
Right.
So that makes sense. But it's like, ooh, I wish that there was some room for this little Bronny Jr. to make waves, but I just don't see it because LeBron just keeps playing so well.
Yeah, I don't, it's going to be interesting to keep following the storyline of Bronny, James, and LeBron and just kind of seeing the dynamic, the playing time, the whole thing. It's gonna be a storyline all season.
I mean, obviously I know that LeBron wanted to play in the same court as his son and everything, but I almost wonder like if for Bronny Jr.'s own career, would it have been better for him to like not be constantly compared to his dad? I mean, he would be constantly compared to his dad regardless of whatever team he was on.
It's unavoidable.
But I mean, yeah, it is unavoidable. But I just wonder what it would be like, you know?
It's just such an interesting concept. Like, obviously, I don't have a dad who's in the not the WNBA, the NBA. I don't have a dad
either.
that's in the NBA. Yes, correct. But my sister was an Olympian for rowing. And when I got to Michigan, I remember everyone loved to be like, oh, so are you going to the Olympics too? And I was like, I don't know if you're new here, but that's not how that works. Like, I can't just be like, I want to go to the Olympics. And so then I was like kind of faced with this way of thinking about myself that I was like, if I don't go to the Olympics, I'm like a failure. Right. And I'm just like not good.
But it's like you're an athlete. Like you're still doing what majority of the population can't do.
Yeah. And I did not have rational thinking, Blake. So, it took me a little bit to get through that and work on that. Shout out to sweet Greg Harden at Michigan. He was a great therapist there for student athletes. But we all grow and we all get some experience. So I'm honestly really thinking of Bronny James during this time because this
feels personal.
Fucking hard.
But yeah, I'm also sure you saw that Golden State Warriors Steph Curry, the boy, went down with an ankle injury in Sunday's loss to the Clippers, and reports say he'll miss at least 2 games and will be reevaluated later in the week. I wonder if the Warriors are going to stand a chance if he's going to be out.
I mean, he's
for a long time.
He's so freaking good.
Also an older player.
Yeah, it makes me like nervous of just not the rest of his career, but like how, I don't know. It's just like whenever an older player gets injured, I'm always like, do they bounce back in the same way? Does it mess them up forever? Like, I don't know. And even small things can just kind of obviously add up, but then also be more serious than you even realize. So it's just, that's a little scary too.
It's tough too because since he is so good and since LeBron is so good, why would you ever take them out of the game to like let the newer players play?
Right.
But it's also like, they're getting freaking old. Like,
yeah. So that brings up a good point, though, because some load management in the NBA making waves. So something that hasn't quite taken hold in the NFL yet, but the Sixers star Joel Embiid has taken a lot of flack for missing the team's first few games, leading the NBA to investigate the nature and validity of his injury.
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
What is load management?
So essentially, because the NBA play so many games, they have this concept of load management, which is like, I need to preserve my body for the length of the season. So I'm essentially going to take these couple games off to manage the load of the season.
I see.
So I think usually it's like, oh, they're kind of injured or they're recovering from an injury, whatever. But a lot of people are like, Joel Embiid just got paid. This is interesting timing.
Yeah.
So it's just, I think.
And obviously missing like the first week of games is kind of crazy.
I will say, obviously no sports are the same. But like hockey players play a shit ton of games, very physical. They don't do load management.
Yeah.
So it's different. I'll give that. Also, like NFL doesn't do load management and you're literally running full speed at another human being.
I was going to say, do you think they'd benefit from that?
Yeah. I think
true. I mean, it's just like
benefit.
extra recovery time, basically.
Just like,
But why is it in the news?
I think it's just because the NBA is actually investigating, and usually it's kind of, it's been like, oh, this is a problematic thing. I wonder if this is going to continue every year, every season. But now the NBA investigating it is like, oh, this is serious. Like, it might change how load management is dealt with in the NBA. So just something to keep our eye on.
Can you talk about like, because initially when I heard the story, I was like, yeah, who cares? It's just like they got to preserve their health, blah, blah, blah. But like, what is the actual problem?
I think it comes down, I mean, obviously everything comes down to money in sports. I know, spoiler alert. But I think it's because like it affects not only ticket sales, because like people buy tickets to see certain stars play on certain teams, right? But then like broadcasts.
Oh.
People will watch the NBA broadcast less if like LeBron isn't playing.
Right.
Oh
my God, duh.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't think of that.
No, I know. Because like, Blake's like, oh,
I'm just like, we're just here for the
rest.
sports, guys.
Yeah.
Kumbaya. No, babe.
Yeah, so I think that's just going to be interesting, and we'll see what comes of the investigation.
Interesting stuff. So, Caroline, we are now recording later in the day.
We are.
2 separate studios.
I know.
Because you were supposed to have a little guest, but they didn't show up. So I think it's just going to be you and me. We're going to rock it with some World Series, some football.
Unfortunately, everyone's stuck with just us, but that's okay. Okay, I do want to start quickly with the baseball, and then we can get into football. But we were talking off camera about the World Series and just kind of generally how I'm feeling about baseball, because last episode I said, it's never really given me the invigorating holy shit reaction moment. I will say the Freddie Freeman walk-off grand slam, never been done before in the World Series, I'm pretty sure. That one, I didn't say holy shit, but I did say, wow, that's pretty cool. So I'd like a little bit of kudos that I'm moving in the right direction, baseball fans. So,
it's actually really funny. So for listeners, like the head of HR at the Skim asked me specifically about Caroline's take about the World Series after this weekend, because she was personally felt the same way, but has since been also invigorated and inspired to tune into some baseball. So
yeah,
I'm glad that Lisa, if you're listening, which I know she's going to be listening, she loves Well Played. Here's your update. There you go.
There you go, Lisa.
Yes. I know. I was kind of feeling the same way after this weekend, and I saw this really heartwarming moment after he did that walk-off grand slam where Freddie runs up to the net and he sees his dad, and they have like this really tender embrace. Not embrace. I mean, they're like right up next to each other, and they're so happy and they're elated. It was gorgeous. And just to set the record straight, also the Dodgers are up after last night's game, after they won against the Yankees. So they're up 3-0. But yeah, we're rooting for hopefully the Yankees to pull through.
Yeah, I'm sure like literally New Yorkers everywhere do not want to hear us talking about how much we loved that moment from the Dodgers.
Right. I mean, I'm here for a wholesome moment on any team.
I'm here for just trying to get behind the sport, Yeah. The girl's doing her best.
Yes. And so because New Yorkers don't want to listen to us talk about that loss anymore. We're going to move on to football.
Precisely.
Exactly. And Caroline's going to take me through some storylines that caught my eye this week, caught
Yes,
our eyes this week.
Caught everyone's eye.
Oh, yes. We're going to start with probably the one story that caught everybody's eye, including mine, which was shocking to me because, as you all know, I'm just here for the storylines. So we're, first of all, going to start. It's time for Tuesday morning quarterback. Okay, our first topic, like I said, hard to miss. The Washington Commanders defeated the Chicago Bears 18-15 with a last-second Hail Mary pass from quarterback Jayden Daniels to receiver Noah Brown. Many are saying this play was the most spectacular game-ending play of the season so far.
Really unfortunate, however, because not the actual score itself, but this moment, because there's footage of Bears cornerback Tyreek Stevenson taunting Commanders fans. And that just took over the headlines because he's clearly kind of going back and forth with the crowd, doesn't realize that the play is starting because his back is to the line of scrimmage. And then he turns around and Jayden Daniels is getting ready to throw the ball. And so he's sprinting over to kind of get closer to where
do his job.
Defend the play, some may say. So it actually ends up going off of his hand. I mean, it was a deflection nonetheless, hard to control deflections, but it ended up going off of his hand, going into Noah Brown's hands. Commanders win.
Boom, bang.
Insane.
That clip is the one that made it to my feed. It wasn't even about the Hail Mary itself. It was just this jackass who was trying to rub it in, and the other team haha, you guys are losers. And then he gets instant karma, really. Okay,
so two things that I have to point out.
Tell us.
One, Jayden Daniels was going into that game with a rib injury.
Oh.
So they were unsure if he was going to play because he sustained a rib injury. He launched that ball, launched it. And
that's kind of all rib,
all rib,
arm and rib,
all oblique, all core. That had got to have hurt. Oh my God. But don't worry. He was so calm, cool, and collected in the post-game presser, in the post-game interview with Tracy Wolfson down on the field. It was just so chill. And I was like, you are so cool. Was
it down to earth chill or?
Yeah, he was wasn't letting the moment get too big kind of thing. It was impressive. It kind of reminded me of just kind of veteran behavior, not the rookie that he is. And two, I feel like this has been coming across my feeds a lot, is the way that they defended the Hail Mary. Jayden Daniels had so much time to throw the ball because they didn't rush the passer. So I'm confused as to why that was the way that they decided to defend it. I don't know. I mean, obviously Hail Marys are always going to be a little tricky, but I think that most teams typically work on it. Kind of like in soccer when you end practice by taking PKs. I think that's kind of the vibe.
Excellent connector. You really put it into ways that I can understand.
There you go, girl.
Girl.
So I don't know. I just thought that was really interesting. I think people have been bringing that up a lot as well. So I think those are just a couple things to point out, worth noting at least, I should say. Okay, so let's transition to some Cowboys stories.
Yeehaw. Yes, we have a cornerback debacle of another variety. The Dallas Cowboys suffered yet another frustrating loss at the hands of the San Francisco 49ers this Sunday. And star DB Trayvon Diggs was not pleased about how one reporter responded to the loss. He got a little feisty.
He did. So he came out from the locker room before media was allowed inside to confront Mike Williams. He's a sports anchor at WFAA in Dallas. And it was about one of his tweets from the game. And it was a quote tweet of the actual play, and it said, "What is Trayvon Diggs doing on this play?" And the play in question, Diggs can be seen running downfield, but to me, it looked like he was playing man coverage on this wide receiver, Chris Conley, and George Kittle, the tight end on the 49ers, who ended up getting this big gain, really picked up a lot of yards on that play. But obviously the reporter was like, what is he doing? He almost looks like he's paving a way for this play to take place. But to me, from the jump, it looked like he was just sticking really closely to Chris Conley, sorry. So I was like, interesting on both accords because.
So did you like agree with the reporter's line of questioning, I guess?
No, not really. Did I agree with Trayvon Diggs' reaction? Also, not really.
Well, let's get into that because I haven't even gotten to the juicy part yet.
Yeah, go ahead.
Basically, you know, Diggs did not appreciate having his hustle questioned. And he can be heard saying in this video, out of that whole play, that's what you got from that. And when the reporter tells him, we can talk about it more, Diggs responded with the very mature, we can talk about D's nuts. So, Caroline, I got to know, has any player ever told you that you can talk about D's nuts?
No, thank God. Thank God.
Thank God. I hope it never happens.
All of the players that I've talked to have been such sweet angels to me, even when I do talk to them after losses. So that I am forever grateful for. And
they could make your life really hard.
They really could. And I mean, like, I think it's a mutual understanding in losses. Like, at least for me, I feel kind of bad for them because I know them on such a personal level. And so I feel bad that they lost. They know that I obviously like work for the team. So I'm not trying to kind of like come after them in any bad way. But yeah.
Thinking about like the wider industry, you know, maybe someone who doesn't work for a team as a sports reporter, like, is it often that you would see reporters deal with this kind of backlash from a player?
I mean, there's definitely some players and some reporters that have tension between them because of the type of writing that comes out about them or whatever. I think it goes both ways, right? Like, I think sometimes the reporter or the journalist does dig a little too deeply and like tries to antagonize them because there is ways to question people and not do it in an antagonizing way. But then I do think also some players just have a personal vendetta of like, you wrote this one bad thing about me that one time and it made me look bad and I feel like stupid because of it. So I'm never going to kind of let you live it down.
Yeah.
So definitely a two-way street. I hope I'm never on that street because
God,
it
I hope
doesn't
so
seem
either.
like a fun place to be. But that's why I think it's so important that journalists are unbiased because you just got to remove the emotion and really just talk facts. Because if you're talking facts and you're not trying to like make a dig at someone, hopefully they don't really feel as though they need to kind of get feisty back at you. I don't know.
Yeah, very snippy interaction.
It was not great. But I do also think that it probably was because it was at the start of the third quarter, that play that they were talking about, at the start of the third quarter where they scored 0 points, the Cowboys, and the 49ers scored 21. So like that was a tough quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So little tough sticking point there. Okay, so let's move on to our next story. Colts quarterback Anthony Richardson is taking a lot of heat this week. Not only is Richardson throwing an abysmal 44% completion percentage this season, poor boy, not great, he's also getting roasted for pulling himself out of the game for one play during the team's 23-20 loss to the Houston Texans.
I didn't even know players could do that, honestly. Just be like, you know what? I'm going to tap myself out real quick.
Let me tell you,
I
think this might be the first time I've ever seen a quarterback do it.
Right.
Like wide receivers.
He's the guy.
Wide receivers, if you like are absolutely sprinting downfield, it makes sense, right? Like you're running the length of a football field. Like you need a breather. I'm confused by this. Like I have never seen this happen.
Well, I can tell you why it happened, at least in Richardson's case. And basically what happened was in his post-game press conference, he admitted that his reason for leaving game was, quote, tired. I ain't gonna lie, that was a lot of running right there that I did. So I just told Shane I needed a break right there. So now pundits are coming for him. But also, you just let me know before we came on air that he was benched. So do you feel like this behavior might have led to his benching?
I think it definitely factored in. Like, how could it not?
It couldn't have helped.
It definitely could not have helped. Whether that was like the sole reason, probably not. It was probably a little bit of just a long time coming because they saw success with Joe Flacco, who is now going to be the starting quarterback. So they saw success with him when Anthony Richardson was out with his hip injury. So I think it's only natural where it's like, okay, we're going to give them a little bit of a leash, but we're not going to just like ruin our season over giving this person a leash. So they're going back to Flacco because that's what has worked for them. I do think this showed kind of his naive rookie side because a lot of the times I think a player would maybe not be so absolutely truthful in that moment because they know that they're going to get bashed. Like, you can obviously be truthful to your coaches, not saying that, but like maybe just say,
keep that one inside, babe.
It was like I had to talk to the training staff about something, or, you know, I don't know. You could have said anything. I just think that like, it's not great that you were. Listen, I'm all for telling the truth, but sometimes like just keep a couple things closer to the chest.
You heard it here first, y'all. Honesty is only the best policy sometimes in Carolina.
Only sometimes, though. Not always. Okay, next story. There was a very dirty play on quarterback Justin Herbert in the Chargers-Saints game that continues to get a lot of attention, and now people are calling for a suspension.
Yeah, in case you missed it, Saints defensive tackle Nathan Shepard twisted an already downed Herbert's ankle for way too long, leading to offensive lineman Bradley Bozeman taking Shepard to the ground. He said, "Do not touch my man. Do not." No, but honestly, it was like really, a lot of people, and myself included, were very warmed over the fact that Bozeman just got right in there. He's like backing his dude up.
As he should.
Right.
That's like such a, I feel like, staple of offensive linemen is like, they take pride in protecting the quarterback, obviously, because that's their job. So when someone messes with them, honestly, when someone messes with anyone on the team,
right?
Like you send your big guys up and you're like, okay, like take care of business.
He was fast though. He like clearly acted without even thinking. You know what I mean?
You could tell it was like an innate kind of gut reaction because he comes flying on screen when you see the clip, and he like completely like Superman dives and tackles Nathan Shepard.
How dirty did you think this play was? Like
it was not good. Like, you have him by the ankles, you're good. I understand that a lot of the roughing the passer calls are really hard for defensive linemen these days because their refs are really strict on it. They don't want the quarterbacks to get hurt. I completely understand that. This was too far. He had Justin Herbert like completely wrapped up. He was going down, and then he just like really just kind of twisted. It was not good. I didn't like
weird.
it at all.
Yeah. But in a case like this, I mean, I was reading some comments on Reddit, and people were like, the NFL needs to do something. That's where I get all my information from. People are like, they need to do something about this because this play was just like too far. But I mean, I don't know if you have any answers to this, but like, what do you think should happen? Anything?
I wonder if he'll get fined. Well, no, he will get fined 100% for sure. How much? I don't know. But I wonder if he'll get suspended, because I think when it becomes a bigger story, particularly on social media, it's almost easier to justify the suspension. But something I'm going to be keeping my eyes on for sure. I'm also just like super interested on how much he gets fined, because I've seen plays where you're technically like one of the defenders is like lowering that he's called for like helmet to helmet, but it's actually like the offensive player that kind of looks like they're lowering their helmet, and the defensive guy gets called and ends up getting fined like 50 grand, which, oh my God, just a casual drop in the bucket. But yeah,
that could have paid for me to go to college for an entire year.
Yeah. No big deal. Just, hey, could those fines go towards my tuition? Hey, thanks. So definitely something I'll be following, because that is really interesting. Okay, let's close out Tuesday Morning Quarterback with a little bit of a trade action going on. So the trade deadline is coming up on Tuesday. So teams have kind of the last second shot to get some trades in the season. And of course, the Kansas City Chiefs, who are unbeaten, 7-0. They acquired linebacker Josh Uche from the Patriots for a 2026 sixth-round pick. I understand that the Chiefs are playing good defense, but it's just like, how does everyone always end up going to the Chiefs? I don't understand. Every good player ends up on the Chiefs. I just feel like this is truly them putting all the chips in and being like, we're going for that third Super Bowl in a row and we're not messing around. It's so annoying. They're so good. It's just like, gosh darn it. Like, ugh. And Josh Uche is obviously really, really good. Yeah, it's frustrating, I would say. But it's typical Chiefs behavior. Just because like they acquired DeAndre Hopkins like last week or 2 weeks ago. Now they have Josh Uche. Like they're just like filling out their roster. They're able to, even when people go down and get injured and they're really sparse on offense or on defense, like wherever it is, they end up filling the position that they need incredibly well. Like it's not just like, oh, this one random guy from the practice squad that no one's ever heard of. It's like, oh no, they go out and they like take care of business. So they always just end up finding a good solution. Not even just like, oh, we're just kind of fitting the bill. It's like, no, we're finding a good solution to make sure that we are continuing our dominance.
All right. Well, it was nice seeing you in this little studio, Caroline. I guess I'll see you back at our other studio in a second.
You know, I'll see you literally anytime, any place, girlfriend.
I know. Thanks for joining me midday. Love to see you, girl. And when we come back, we are going to share some of our favorite send-its from the week.
Okay, it is time to close this episode of Well Played with another round of my favorite game and yours. Send It. This is a selection of our favorite viral moments from the week. You got to be sending them to your group chat. Blake, you have the floor, ma'am.
Okay, so this one I saw over the weekend. It was very cute and wholesome. Let's start with some cosplay, shall we? It is Halloween week after all.
Of course.
Did you happen to see Buck star Giannis, the Greek freak, Antetokounmpo? Fuck, I never get his last name right. Whatever. Yeah. I'm just going to end it with
Giannis.
the Greek freak.
Giannis, yeah.
But he showed up to a press conference as Mr. Potato Head at the podium because his kids, they were spotted. They were dressed as Toy Story characters. Obviously, Mr. Potato Head is a Toy Story character, one of my faves. If not, you've got to check it out. It was so cute and wholesome. He was basically like, you know, when your wife tells you you got to show up as Mr. Potato Head, you show up as Mr. Potato Head, no questions asked.
Yeah, he was like, the reporter asked him like why he was dressed like that. And he was like, you a father? And he was like, yeah. And he was like, you get it. And I was like, yep, that's a family
you
man.
Understand.
That is a family man.
Yeah, he said he's a father first. And I was like, oh,
sweet boy.
Sweet man.
Okay, I'm next. My nominee for Send It is the PB&J craze sweeping the NFL. So The Athletic kind of polled all NFL teams and we're asking them how many Uncrustable sandwiches they consume in a season, which I am so glad somebody did this because the Denver Broncos topped the list of teams with about 700 Uncrustables a week, but NFL players consume at least 80,000 Uncrustables a year. Travis Kelce was also quoted saying he probably eats more PB&J sandwiches than anything else. I have to come clean. I freaking love the Uncrustables because here's the thing.
You're part of the number.
Oh, I'm adding to that quota for sure. I would actually love if they just polled our like content department individually because holy crap, we go through a lot. But like, here's the thing. They're always on hand because they travel well, whatever.
Yeah.
They're always on hand. They are like the perfect snack / meal replacement when you're running around like a chicken with its head cut off. They're easy. You can eat them in one hand. They're not that messy. Who doesn't love PB&J?
Okay, wait. But the thing is, I don't love PB&J.
That's psychotic.
I came clean. Basically, I didn't eat a peanut butter and jelly for 15 to 20 years.
What
the last time I had one was last May, and it was because I hit 5,000 followers on my Foodstagram. And so I was like, I'm going to engage with my food aversion, and I'm going to try this for y'all because I love you so much.
Do you just not like the taste of peanut butter?
No, I love peanut butter. It's the jelly.
Is it the texture?
It's the texture. It's
consistency.
Like the smell. I've always preferred fruit in its pure form. I don't really like.
Oh, you're so annoying.
Or like baked. I know. And you know why else I'm annoying? Because you're like, 80,000 Uncrustables. That's a lot of single-use plastic. You know what I mean?
No, that's fine. That's fair. I get it.
No, but also it's funny because I was listening to NPR yesterday. I'm also insufferable. I listen to NPR for fun. They were talking about the billion-dollar industry that Uncrustables are. And actually Smuckers, initially they were like, yeah, they didn't hit it first. But now it's a freaking multi-billion-dollar industry, reportedly.
I mean, I was the kid growing up where I was like, cut that crust off right now.
I almost just said, and I'm going to say it because I'm acting self-aware about it. I almost just said I'm a crusty gal.
See, why are you being mean to yourself?
Someone stop what's happening up here in my brain.
That's crazy for you. I can't believe that.
But yeah, happy for you guys.
Yeah, need those Uncrustables.
Okay, so it's my turn. Did you see Alana Mar on TikTok? She was on the side. She's on the sidelines of the Rams game this weekend, and she was shooting her absolute shot, telling her players and her followers that she's single. She's single and ready to mingle. She was like, hey, just so y'all know, I'm single and like really good looking.
She is so funny.
She is so funny. She should have an acting career, honestly.
No, actually, though, because there was a TikTok of hers that actually it was of Morgs. You know who Morgs is? She's the I forget who she's dating. I think it's Taylor Fritz. She's dating Taylor Fritz. He's a tennis star. But I only know her because the U.S. Open this year, like Taylor Fritz was like pissed because ESPN follows her, not him, which is hilarious.
That's a good
she
story.
also has like the cutest outfits. I love her. She was also at the Ram Games sideline. She was trying to stiff arm Alana, and Morgan was like, "What if I hurt you?" And she was like, "You're not gonna hurt me."
She's like, "Do you know who I am?"
And she tried the stiff arm, and she literally like patted her, and she was like, "Okay, we have some work to do on that one."
She realized she's a
so
rugby player.
Yeah, an Olympic rugby player.
NBD.
She'll be okay. Okay, last Send It. Did you see the fight that took place at Michigan State football game this weekend in lovely Ann Arbor? Yes. You weren't there.
No. Well, yes.
No.
Wait. Okay. Kind of. I forgot to mention that I did go to this game.
Yes.
Actually, I think I mentioned it. Guys, the coffee's really getting to me right now. I did go to the game, but I swear to God, I was in the student section because I finessed a student ticket. It was Astro World up in there.
It's amazing.
It was crazy.
Amazing.
I was like asking my friend who went to UMich for undergrad and now is a grad student there. I was like, has it always been like this? It was fucked up.
Electrifying.
Yes. My friend also bought $200 worth of concession stand food. I ate a hot dog in that crowd.
Oh my God, of course. Here we go. Hot dog Blake.
But I didn't see the fight because I left early because it was too crazy.
Yeah.
Actually.
You were like, get me out of here. Well, it was also a night game, so added. But the literal, like the clock's ticking down, final whistle blows, and classic Michigan State, they get into it. They got into it a couple years ago in the tunnel at Michigan, and that ended up in like players getting suspended. God. I want to say like charges were brought against some of the players from Michigan State because
you Midwesterners
we're crazy. Well, I'm not a Midwesterner, right. So I'm faking that. But so yeah, it's very kind of unclear to see. There was definitely some trash talking happening, and then Loveland from Michigan kind of like headbutts the Michigan State guy, but then the Michigan State guy like rips him down to the ground. And then it just like bench clearing fight, storm the field. So quite the way to end the game.
I can't believe I fucking missed that.
Yeah, I know. This is what you get for leaving early.
I know. It was just too crazy.
That's on you, dog.
Like I said, you should call me dog. I like that. But that's it for this week's Send It. Be sure to send the Well Played podcast to your friends, family, coworkers. Please make us your Instagram story. Tell us your friends about the show. But Caroline, which Send It did you prefer this week? There were a lot of good ones this week. There
were a lot of good ones. I think I'm going to go with the Uncrustables just because it hits home, close to the heart. I'm just glad that everyone knows how much Smucker's is fueling the NFL. Yeah.
I'm going to say, I'll say Alana Mar.
Yeah, she's
like,
great.
It was understated. You guys should watch the video for sure. But she's just like, she's everywhere.
She should come on the show.
She should come on the show. Alana, if you're listening, come have a seat, girly.
Come on.
We'd love to have you here.
All right. That's it.
That's it for this episode. Yeah, of Well Played this week, presented by The Skim. Thank you always for listening. We appreciate it.
We do appreciate it so much. We'll be back again next Tuesday. Don't worry. Not going too far with another episode of Well Played. So be sure to subscribe to the show wherever you're listening.
Yes, we need to tell everyone again where they can follow us on social media. Caroline, you go first.
So that you can think about your username. My username is @CGHendy. You can follow me wherever you would like to. I'm trying to get better on TikTok.
That's another
it's
beast.
A work in
I don't know about that.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah,
Baby steps, everyone.
Mine is BL 3As 4Ks E, and you should follow us for sure because we will be at the marathon as we mentioned this weekend.
Yep.
With New York Roadrunners, and we're so excited to capture some content and the love and
producing content and cheering at all of the runners on.
Absolutely.
Also, make sure you're leaving us a rating and review, and check out the Well Played YouTube channel where we have full-length video of today's episode. Just search Well Played by The Skim on YouTube.
Until next time, thank you so much for listening to Well Played,
the only podcast in a league of its own.